Recall that the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for the arrest of Al-Bashir on the 19th of March 2009. A second one was issued a year later on the 12th of July 2010 over alleged sponsoring of terrorism and poor human rights records. Now, let's remind you and tell you what we know about the man who is now the de facto head of military in Sudan, who also doubles as the head of what they call the National Military Council, who's going to ensure that there's a transition between military and indeed the civilian rule. He goes by the name Lieutenant General Ahmed Auf. Of course, he is 65 years old, born in the year 1954. That's about 2 years just before his country, Sudan, got into independence from Egypt. And he seemed to be the man in charge right now, even as the 30-year reign of President Bashir has finally come to an end. He was head of military intelligence and chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That was before a military shakeup sometime in 2010, as well as after that, he was also appointed Sudanese ambassador to Oman. Oman is an Arab country in Western Asia. Let's move on now and see what else we know about this interesting man who seemed to be in the eye of the storm right now as far as Sudan is concerned. He seems to be shrouded with a lot of controversies, just like his predecessor who has some cases before the International Criminal Court. He was on the list of those sanctioned by the United States in 2007. As a matter of fact, he was accused of direct links in what was considered genocide as well as crimes against humanity in Darfur. In fact, General Auf was said to have coordinated bombing attacks on civilians, attacks on villages, as well as mass rape. And that seemed to be the reason why the protesters aren't taking his ascension as a matter of a joke at all. They do not want him here at all. He was appointed first vice president earlier this year in February when the demonstrations became immense, and former President Al-Bashir had to sack his cabinet and appoint General Auf as the first vice president. We also understand that as we speak right now, protesters are demanding not just the sack of Al-Bashir, but also all of his allies. Now, this is the situation right now as we know it. We know that General Auf is head of the transition government. As we speak, the constitution in Sudan has been postponed or suspended. That's how they put it. He's also promised civilian representation in this transition period, which according to him is going to take 2 years. He has announced 3-month state of emergency, and there's also curfew in that particular country, in the state capital, to be precise, from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. The military has also promised that during this time, ports and medical facilities will be secured. Now, the main organization at the center of this revolution in faraway Sudan, by the name Sudanese Professionals Association, aren't taking this. What they want is a civilian transition from 30 years of rule of President Bashir.